their own space. Start your breathing. Take a few nice deep breaths into the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, and then release. And do several rounds of that. And while you're doing those rounds, I want you just to kind of take a mental note, a little inventory of how the body is feeling and any tight spots along the way. Take a few extra deep breaths in that area. If for some reason you cannot, release an area, what I would like you to do is actually tense that area. For instance, if it's your gut, take a real nice good squeeze of the diaphragm and then let it go and breathe. And just continue to do that for the next few moments. And then in just a moment, we'll start the invocation. Want everybody to release everything that they've carried into the class from today or the past several weeks. Just let it go. Doesn't serve you anymore. Okay, so Lady Mara, you went ahead and started recording, correct? All right. Dear Mother, Father, God, Creator of all things, we come to you as servants in gratitude. Gratitude for being here. Gratitude for our breath. Gratitude for the opportunity to serve as emissaries of the light. We soon will realize, as you've told us time and time again, that we have no limits. We are limitless beings. And we're here to shift the consciousness into a balanced state and to share that good news with all who dwell on this wonderful planet Earth. At this moment, along with your grace, I ask that all the archangels be present, specifically the archangels of the 4 directions. May you come and stand and hold sacred circle. Michael from the east for your protection and guidance. Uriel from the south for your love and light. Raphael from the west, God's divine healer, for your joy and peace and healing. And Gabriel from the north, for your wisdom and guidance. May we all stand together. United, we stand. In oneness, in one mind, to meet the challenges positively that face humanity. And so it is, and so we are, and so it shall be. Amen. All right, let's start to bring your focus back to yourself. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, open your eyes, and be present as one in this space. One mind, one energy. Nice to have you on board, Joanna. I see it's the middle of the night over there. You can go to bed soon. It's okay. Okay. What I'm going to do right out the chute is start with all of the questions that came in. I think the last one that I cut it off at before class was Amy's. But I'm going to go ahead and start down the line with some of these answers. And then maybe midway, if Mara, hopefully if you can help me with this, there's an exercise that I want to do, but I'm hoping that more people join live so we can have this exercise. So I'm going to shove that off a little bit later into the schedule. But you know how things go. I'm afraid that once they start talking, I'm going to forget. So could you make a mental note of that? Okay. All right. So questions. Let's start off with Monique's. She wrote astral projection and the protection of the life cord. Now, is Monique here? No? Oh, yeah. Monique. Yeah. Okay. So she must be on by phone, maybe, because I don't see, or maybe she is. There's just no picture. Okay. I'm assuming that you mean how to protect the life cord. Can we unmute her to see if that's my assumption is correct?
Monique, I unmuted you. Can you hear us?
Yes, that's right. How to protect it during the astral projection. I thought it was a good subject.
Okay. Well, normal people who astral project will use that silver cord as their lifeline. And it can be a little dangerous. It can be, depending on what the person has dealt with in their life, what's happening around them, their level of knowledge. That's why we usually say don't astral project until you're ready. But all of you are not normal. And I don't mean that in a bad way, okay? All of you have been assigned an archangel. And that archangel is with you constantly, 24/7. Whether you are consciously aware of it or not, the protection is there. So that is one of the reasons why Sir Edward has done that, because you have basically caught up to his consciousness with learning how to do certain things, and you're doing them it's not in an unconscious state, but you're doing them without knowing. And that's the freedom he wanted you to be able to work with and work in the confines of that freedom, so that when you do go into astral projection, you don't have to sit there and go, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? So fear is off the chart. It's off the slate. You no fear zone, because that archangel is always working with you. So bottom line, Monique, you do not have to think about anything. Those members here in this group, once your archangel is assigned to you, you are protected. Does that answer your question, Monique? Or she's back muted again.
She's not. Oh, there she is.
Yes, that does. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay. Sarah Beth, when will book 2 be released? Okay, so the 2 dates that I have in mind are possibly November 23rd or December 23rd. Now, November 23rd, because it's right around Thanksgiving, and I want it to be a thankful, all of that gratitude that comes, or December 23rd because it's Michaela's birthday. There's just a lot of just different energy that came through because of that. Now, the good news about all of this is, and I'm sure that most of you would want to do this, there's something called an advanced book team. Is that what it's called, Mara? Is that the technical advanced book team?
Or book launch team, whatever you want to call.
Book launch team. And I will make a separate Facebook group for that, where if you want to join, you'll get an advanced a PDF version of the book to read. And on the day of the book launch, whichever day we choose, you will have already read the book, and you will go on to Amazon and leave a review. You'll download your free copy. You'll go on to Amazon and leave a review, and then you'll pass that information out on your Facebook page. And then you guys are going to be able to go on Amazon and watch the numbers go up. And more than likely, with all of you as on the book launch team, the book will hit international bestseller list in an hour. We did it last time, and it took Mara, 3 hours? Maybe 3 hours. And I only had 12 people on my launch team. So that's the good news. So as soon as I have the exact date, Mara is actually, I don't know what she thinks she knows what she's gotten herself into, but she's she's offered to help edit some of the punctuation and whatnot. So as soon as we get all of that done, I just finished editing Sir Edward's preface yesterday, and formatting is going to be forthcoming. My goal to get it totally done on my side is Michaelmas, which is next weekend. Not this coming weekend, but next weekend. So excited. I can't show you the cover. I showed a couple people the cover today, but I'll just tell you the cover's red. Not blue, it's red. Okay, so the next question is from Finn. He says, is it about the third eye? Wait a minute, hold on. About the third eye is opening more and more when I see vibration and color in the air. Yes, all of you are seeing and experiencing more things. And really what's actually happening, without you even knowing this goes back to things that we've said time and time again in classes, that you are creating new ley lines in your mind. You're creating a network of neurons and synapses that happen, and you're activating parts of the brain that were not active before. So that's the reason why you're all starting to see, and you're all starting to hear, and you're all starting to feel. Each lesson is a building thing. And I believe it was Sarah who commented in your essay that along with this essay, she's been going back, like some of you, and reading all the not all the essays, all the lessons to see how far you've come, to see how, wow, I had a hard time with this, and now look what I'm doing now, okay? So it definitely is this building block process, and you're opening new pathways. So just know that these things will continue to grow, and as you individually grow, someone else in the group is going to get that hit as well. It's fascinating. I don't want to release all the stuff all the time to everybody, but you would not believe all the synchronicities between your essays and your experiences. And I'll throw one real quick one out there. This is not a question. This is just something that I had to it hit me like this when I read it. Bruce Fowler, his ex-father-in-law died on Friday. He was almost 90. He died in a car crash. On the way back from a doctor's office visit on Friday, I drove past a horrendous car accident not even a mile from here. As a matter of fact, Mark can remember this. It's the same exact location where you'll read about an accident in book 2 that took place. Okay, interestingly. Anyway, when I drove past it, I knew it was hideous because the top of the car got cut off. And when I drove and I saw it was a FedEx truck and a car, and I'm like, I don't know anybody who has a white car like that, but I had this impression that I knew this person. Well, I get to a birthday party on Friday night, and I find out that it's the 90-year-old parishioner that we have at church who was active in everything that we did. Very, very sweet man. And
I'm there.
What? Who said here? Oh, I thought I heard reverb. Anyway, there was a crushed pelvis that he had, and at the time of the birthday party, they were cauterizing things and trying to keep him alive, and then 20 minutes later he died after the birthday party started. So I thought it was fascinating. Bruce had his ex-father-in-law, 90-year-old, die in a car crash. I see a car crash with a 90-year-old. I know that's weird, but it just freaked me out a little bit. I'm like, that's just amazing in an amazing synchronistic kind of way. So we're all going to be experiencing different things at different times. Mara, I'm getting reverb somewhere. Do you know where
what's happening is I didn't do mute all. Let me do that. Because when we started, I'm going to hit mute all, and then I'm going to unmute you, and that'll fix that.
Okay. All right.
Okay, now you should be good.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let me move on. Charlene, she asked, how did I experience holy fire after seeing the Dead Sea Scrolls? Well, lots of reasons. A lot of times, one of the reasons why, did you physically, where is she here? Yeah. Did you physically see them? Did you go visit where they are? Okay. So when we go to these sacred places, we are connecting with energy. That's why we're drawn to travel a lot of times. Okay. Now we can travel astrally that same way. Sometimes we can see it on the internet that way. Sometimes it does have to be in person. It all depends on the timing. Remember that when you're waiting is full thing. Okay. But you connected with this energy, and the Dead Sea Scrolls had a lot to do with the Gnostic part of the Gospels, the parts that the Sophia, the goddess, the energy, the Mary Magdalene that was wiped away from common consciousness because of the putting down of the feminine power. So you connected with something. And what year were you, when did you do that? Can you unmute?
It was just a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Maybe 3 weeks.
All right. Well, and then we've been talking about you coming to the Holy Fire.
Mm-hmm.
So when you, how many of people here have experienced Reiki or Reiki classes? Very often than not, when you are supposed to be in a class or have a session, a few weeks prior, everything starts to shift. And you start to experience something. You either experience the session, it starts a while, you get this little healing crisis that can happen. The energy starts to present itself to you. So that's number one on the hit parade. So I'm pretty sure that that's the reason. And it would more than likely be your answer to if you should be here or not. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So again, sometimes we put things in the way not to make it happen. But if it started, you would want to see it through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the second thing is there's a lot of conjecture out there that the holy fire energy, this very sweet energy that comes through, is the mother creator energy, which can be aligned with that Sophia, the Pistis energy. Okay. So that could also be the reason why the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay, you see that triangulation happening there?
Yeah.
So yes, it can happen when you can go to the pyramids or Egypt or Giza and connect to Cleopatra. You know, or you can go to Williamsburg and walk down the street or Mount Vernon and connect to George Washington's energy. You know what I mean? So it's all still there. But that's the reason why the holy fire, Sophia energy, Dead Sea Scrolls, one and the same.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Roya, I want to understand if visions and imaginations that manifest themselves are similar. Is it visions that I'm seeing or imagining it, and that imagination manifests itself? These past 2 weeks with the lesson on psychic sight is kind of freaking me out, LOL. Okay, this goes hand in hand with your thought process. This is the topic of our evening. It's been the topic of the day. When the Knights came in today, we basically went over this. We had some pretty good things come through. There was a great discussion around the table today, and your thoughts can create anything. How many of you watched the video that Sir Edward posted a couple days ago? Okay, all right. Now, I encourage you to rewatch it until something does this. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little story that I told at the table today about how powerful you really are and how you don't know it because since birth you've been programmed to believe otherwise. You are actually limitless. And that is the image of God that you were created in. Your limitless energy has been placed in a container here on earth called the body, which has limits. But that body can do limitless things once you connect. Again, it's a facade that we are limited. Our thoughts can create anything we want. Just like the video said, right now, sitting here, unknown to you, 10 quadrillion things are happening that the brain is controlling and managing. You have no idea. All those cells in your body are doing things that you have no idea. Every nucleus in every cell, every synapse that's happening is happening without you knowing it. You are a supercomputer beyond a human understanding. Now, if the subconscious can do that, what do you think you can do with your conscious mind coupled with your will, directing it? So here's the story I laid down. You're a parent. You have this beautiful baby, and you know for sure this child's future is unbelievable. Almost like a beautiful gilded mansion or a gilded castle. You see in their future. They can do whatever they want in their future. And along the way, as this child grows, things start to happen, and you start to get scared. Fear crops up. What if they fail school? What if they do drugs? What if they have sex before they're supposed to? What if they flip somebody off and they get in trouble at school? What if? Okay? So while you are thinking these things, you have now created all these little detours along the way to this beautiful castle that is their destiny. For instance, walking through the woods to the beautiful castle, you know that the castle's there. A storm hits. You're afraid of getting wet or afraid of getting struck by lightning, so you manifest another shelter, like a little lean-to. So everybody runs over there. You manifest it. You created that. It was not there until you created it. Just like all these fear-based things are not there. Everything that happens in the future hasn't happened yet until you, as a creator, manifest it. So if there's something you want, you must focus intently on that. And if the fear rises, honor it and let it go. Do not entertain those fearful thoughts. Because just like the video said, there is no such thing as anxiety. It's no real thing, except a product of your thoughts. Now, what do the thoughts do to create the anxiety? The thoughts synapse in the brain from a neuron to a dendrite, and during that synapse, like little electrical impulses, are creating chemicals. And the chemicals, the cortisol, the dopamine, it's all rushing and flooding your system. And that's where the anxiety comes from. Didn't exist until you created it. Now, isn't that fascinating? So, Roya, it's one and the same. Okay? There are times when a vision is like, boom, it's there. And then when you get that boom, and you have this vision, and then you go, wow, this is really cool, and then you spin off, and you go off on this little tangent. That could be your imagination. Okay? But it's no less real. Your imagination is creating it. Now, really the question is, which do you choose to keep? Do you want to keep the vision that you created in your imagination, or do you want to keep the one that was given to you? Do you understand that? It's a conscious choice. And before too long, you are all going to absolutely understand everything I just said at a level that will allow you to do anything you want. You can affect any problem you have. You have the ability, you have the power. Robert's question. We went over this today. Where's your question, Robert? What did I do with it? How do we start using this unlimited power and abilities that is a part of us? It stands to reason that if we are children of God, then we should have access to the same creative abilities. Yes, you do. Yes. start using it. You have to take control of your thoughts. It's really the only thing that's stopping you. The ego, the fear of the ego, keeping you down, keeping you human, the patterning from the past has to be let go. And all you need to do is say it's so and stick with that. That's why we do these affirmations. That's why we do all these meditations to project out the positivity. But what happens is, typically, we project it out and we believe, every one of you believes with 100% of your being, and then we send love to the hurricane, or we send love to Victoria's eyes, or we send love to these people who need healing. And then we turn off and we go about our life, and then we let life push us down. If you need finances, manifest them. Believe. Thought process. See that golden castle if that's what you want. Or see that beach house. See Shangri-La. See whatever it is that you want. See whatever disorder you have healed, and it will heal. But see it completely. Don't let, every time a thought comes up that it's not, every time a doctor says, no, you don't, say, yes, I do. Yes, I can. And more importantly, yes, I will. Okay? All right. Did that answer your question, Roya? Okay. Let me go back. Okay, Sean, yours was kind of tandem with Roya's, that I've seen two things after meditation: deep sleepwalking, up talking to someone. I was walking after meditation, felt as though I was trying to climb stairs and they were not there, freaked me out. I got dizzy, then went and grounded myself. You probably did a little bit of bilocating, okay? And you were a little bit too much in your body when you bilocated, because a lot of times, you know, the astral projection is bilocating. So if you were sleepwalking, that is a bilocation. I mean, I think that we've had somebody in the group who said that their husband saw them down the hall or something when they were sleeping. So this is going to happen. If you want to stay in that state, see the stairs underneath of you and walk up them. You very well may have been at the base of the stairs to the stairway to heaven, the ones that you'll find in the meditate. Did you get to that meditation yet? The second group, the stairway? No? Okay. That could be where you went. So again, be conscious of that and say, okay, there's the stairs, I'm going up them. It's like, how many of you saw the movie or read the book, The Shack, with Jesus walking on the water and the man walking with him? Okay. It's the same thing. It just know that you are with your angel, with the Christ spirit, and do whatever it is that you need to do. And it will be there. It will manifest. Okay. But stay safe. Practice it at home first. Okay. One of the things that I'm going to skip around a couple of questions, but one of the things that I wanted to make sure that you are all aware of is a lot of you are still praying for people to heal, praying for this thing to happen in your life, praying for that thing to happen in your life. And so Edward and I were just talking about this. Every single person in this group has gone beyond prayer. Because when people pray, they're praying to what's around you. They're praying to the angelic realm. They're praying to that energy. They're praying to the consciousness that's been placed around you. So you have transcended the prayer state, because all you're going to do is, like, if Raphael's sitting here and I start praying, he's going to look at me and go, hello, why are you doing that? We already passed that point. Let's move beyond that. And here's how you move beyond it. You have to start commanding the energy. You are commanders. When you hold those beacons up, You have an archangel on the bottom. You have thousands in the battalion there. And you say to this archangel, you look at the number, line it up, and say, Archangel Raphael, this is what I want done. Do this deed. Pray for this child. Bring this, not pray, bring this child home. Command that. Don't pray for that. Do you guys understand that? Okay. Again, I know it's going to feel a little weird at first. You know, sometimes when I work with clients and I tell them to command, the universe is just waiting for us to tell them what we want. Don't ask for it. Don't say we want or we wish. Tell them like it is. I have ... I am ... That missing child has been found ... Whatever. You command it as if it were so. If that makes you feel uncomfortable, then say to your angel, I command you to do it. Your counterpart. You're working in tandem. It's like two people working on a project together. I'm going to take this part, you take that part. Yes, Charlene. Can you unmute yourself?
Sorry, thank you. My question is, when do I stop? Because I could picture myself just going and going and going with commandment after commandment. How do I not exhaust them?
They'll tell you.
Okay.
Say you're being a greedy Gus. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. And just do one at a time. One thing at a time. You know, some of us tend to be a little ADHD or a little type A, where, you know, multitasking. I'm going to tell this angel to do that and this angel to do that, and I'm going to tell this one to do this, and I'm going to tell that one to do that. You could do that, okay? But why? You know, do it when you really, really need it, and ask inside, is this something that really needs to be done? Do I really need to manifest somebody to clean the cobwebs out of my corners?
Okay.
I can totally do that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, check and balance yourself. You know, you're you know, a smart cookie and you've got a great angel around you. Just talk, okay? But yes, you know, anybody could take it to the nth degree. And there are people that will do just one in a year, and there will be other people that do one every hour. It's okay. It's okay. Just check. Okay.
I'm more thinking like solving world problems, commanding this be done and that be done kind of thing. So
well, you know, here's what happens. We're collectively, as the group, we are solving world problems. Okay. When we like do things like the hurricane, some people have had little ooches because, well, I don't want to mess with that, or I don't want to mess with this. We're messing with stuff all the time. We're messing with the balance. It's out of balance. We got to mess with it in order to bring it into balance. Okay. None of us know exactly what's going to happen. None of us know the end result for any of this. But what we are learning, and what we do know, is that we don't know. And what's around us does know. And so we're being guided by that. And that's why I asked you to check inside. Because quite frankly, there are a lot of people, half the country hates Donald Trump to death, just hates him, wants him out of there. The other half loves what Donald Trump's doing, but still hates him. Okay? They love that he's keeping socialism down. Okay? Now, which side do you pick? Okay? Because right now, what's actually happening is sometimes something like that's happening, like Putin and like the Korean War, the Korean missile crisis, and all the different bad things that have happened serve a purpose. The hurricane served a purpose. That's a ginormous amount of energy that came at us. Those of you who are getting those pyramids that stayed underneath of that hurricane are going to be like on electrical grid crack. Okay, it absorbed a lot, and it came over that Saragossa Sea, right over top of where Atlantis was. Okay, so was it bad? Yes, we lost lives, but maybe, just maybe, if we wouldn't have done what we did, maybe many more would have died.
Mhm.
You don't know. You could sit here all day long, and you could second guess it. What I ask you to do, you've all stepped forward, you're all working with an angel, is trust what's around you. Trust Sir Edward's guidance, Eru, Michael coming through him to tell us the direction we need to go. So trust not just your inner self, Charlene. Trust what's around you and ask them, do I really need to make sure that, you know, my senator votes for this bill? I don't know. Okay. Maybe what we all need to do is to get the Supreme Court to a suit against the Senate and the Congress to stop all this mess that they're doing and limit terms.
Mhm.
Maybe that's the key. Who knows? You'll find out. Okay, does that answer the question? Awesome. Just got hot in here. Okay. I'm thinking maybe that's probably our next mission, is the whole congressional thing. Okay. Elaine. Is Elaine here? No, I don't see Elaine. Okay. All right. Well, Elaine's question was, how can I find out more about the energetic presence I feel almost constantly and whenever in meditative state or during healing work? 2 items that felt very heavy, sphere-shaped crystals placed in my hands again just yesterday. Okay.
I'm
So,
here.
where are you?
Chimera on top.
Everybody's looks different, but she is here, Sophia. She's on the second
okay.
page.
Oh, there you are. Okay, so you're on the bottom of mine. Okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Elaine, this is what's come through, and this is for anybody has this experience. Like right now, when you stepped forward, you all were assigned an archangel around you to work with you. Since that time, you have all transcended just that archangel, and you have been working with many energies. Remember, counterparts on the wall, there's 1,000 of them at least. Okay, so what I encourage you to do, especially after all of you have acquired these crystals and the boards, is to take your crystal and let me find one of my crystals. Okay, why can't I find one that has, there we go. So I'm going to take this crystal and I'm going to turn it over, and I see the number 14. So I'm going to take the number 14 and I'm going to cross-reference it with our list of angels. And I'm going to find out who this is. Because you've brought a lot more physical energy into your home with these crystals. Ask them which one it was and what they want to work with you with. Okay? This is going to happen with all of you. Or could happen with all of you. If you sense a presence different from what you have been sensing, and it's working with you positively like that, there's a reason for it. And that's how you find out. Does that answer your question, Elaine?
I have not tried that, so yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Tammy, why did the light being give me a picture of my first dog named Princess? I have yet to figure it out. Her death was very painful to me because she was poisoned by someone and we never found out who. Is that in this last meditation, Tammy? Where'd she go? I lost her. Let me go back to my... Oh, there you are. Unmute yourself, please. Okay.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so what part of the meditation were you handed that?
It was actually the very first one. The first day.
Okay. All right. Well, so 2 things are happening. Number one, it's something that's holding you back and they want you to get over it.
Okay.
It's a gift to examine it. And we're going to do that in just a little bit. Mara, give me about 10 more minutes and we're going to do what I said. You've been given your vision for this exercise we're going to do in just a little bit.
Okay.
You have to release it for whatever reason it needs to go. The dog is around you. It's one of your spirit guides. You have spirit animal guides. So that part of the healing process, I'm sure you feel her.
Oh, yeah. she was very close to me, very close. She was always around me. She was actually my uncle's dog, but she chose me as her owner per se because she was everywhere I was, she was.
Okay.
And she was a German Shepherd.
Well, we got a few of those around here.
Yes, and she was always there. And when because I was a child when she was poisoned, and it devastated me. It did. It devastated me when I was a child. I cried, and I'm very close to animals anyway. They're always close to me, but it devastated me, and it never has come up before, you know.
Well, and that's okay, and then go back to this. All will be known when your rating is full. And everybody, like again, going back to this exercise we're going to be doing. Have worked through something and haven't totally worked through it on every level we need to. When that takes place, there's still residue there. Or you have totally worked through it, but you didn't see it.
I can't hear you.
Can't hear me? Can you hear me, Sarah? Who can hear me?
Now I can.
All right. Maybe it's because I'm getting reverb again.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. Go ahead and mute her again, Mara. And can you hear me now, Leslie? Okay, good. Okay. I think it was the reverb that was coming through.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of the things that is really good is to wear a headset with a microphone because it cancels the noise, if you can.
Me?
Not you. You seem to be doing okay, but everybody else. That's why I keep everybody muted, because it's that sound coming out and coming back in again that creates the reverberation.
All right. Okay. So again, we're going to work on that, Tammy. So just hold on to that thought until the exercise. Lady Joy, will the California property sell this year? Where is Joy? There you are, Joy. When you put 4 beacons there, okay, do you have access to it? You do not have access to it. You can't go there?
It's Bakersfield, California, and we don't travel out of state.
Okay.
It's some property that my brother and I own. It was left to us by my father, and it's desert land.
All right. Here's what they're telling me, and this is the truth as it is, and you can do with it what you want. They're saying when you put the effort and the intention into it, it will sell. And this is what has to happen. If you want it to sell, it'll get multiple buyers. If you take 4 of the earth beacons and 1 of the penny points, you put the 4 earth beacons at whatever the closest to the property line in the 4 corners, and you put 1 penny point in the center of the property, and then you command those 5 angels, or actually that 1 angel, because the other ones are going to be earth angels or earth tributes, and your angel to bring multiple buyers to you. This is where God's will be done, and you meeting God's will halfway. You can't sit here and ask for it to be sold if you're not going to do anything. Now, it may take you out of your comfort zone of taking the trip, traveling. How many hours is it to Bakersfield from where you are? About 4 or 5. You guys there? Can she hear? Or Mara, can you hear me?
I can.
So she must be frozen. Okay. All right. We'll get back to that. But with all of you, you must put in effort in order to get something out of it. Like what I was telling about with Robert with the manifesting thoughts. When are we going to have access to the unlimited possibilities that God gave us? Well, you have access to it. When are you going to start implementing it? That's what God says. That's what the angels say. When are you going to start doing something with it? You know, it's not when am I going to give it to you? I gave it to you. Do something with it. Like Robert, there's a pile of wood out there. Go build something with it. Remember that one? Okay. When Joy comes back in, we'll finish with her. But let's move on to Joan. Joan, in lesson 23, or is it 23 or 24? We were talking about the talisman. It talks about you needing a quote from the Bible. Joan says she doesn't have a Bible and really doesn't know any quotes. Well, here's the deal. First of all, Charlene wrote to you afterwards and said, there's a link to the Bible, which you could use. But somewhere in meditation, I thought I said, or maybe it wasn't the meditation, maybe it was in the instructions, any saying or quote that resonates with you, that is pertinent to your request that you are creating the talisman for. Okay? Does not have to be a biblical quote, because I don't know why that was channeled the way it was when it was, but I'm sure that part of the resonation with the Bible and the Christian beliefs is because there are so many billions of people, past and present, that are believers in Christianity, and the power of the belief of the collective is ginormous. So if you get a quote from the Bible, it doesn't necessarily have to be something you've known all your life, but the power of the belief that's connected to that, because so many people believe in that Bible and that quote, that you are pulling the belief and the power of all those people into your little teeny tiny quote. Do you understand that? Okay. So it's like, why use a firecracker when you can use a stick of dynamite that's attached to a case of dynamite? Okay. The power of belief is unbelievable. So you're harnessing, whenever you tap in to any of these belief systems that have been in the consciousness for eons, you are tapping into the power of every single person that believed. And that's a lot. That's like tapping into the stars in the universe. Okay? So you cool with that, Joan? Good. Okay. All right.
Sophia, you said to let you know when 10 minutes were up. It's a little past 10 minutes.
All right. Give me till 5:30.
Okay.
Okay. Q Sariel said, with regards to the 3 crystal beacons that came with the war shields, can we ask one or more of them to work on any issue we want, or are they exclusively for missions? The reason why I want to go over this is because a few of you had these questions before. They are not exclusively for missions, but if you want to take one off your board and use it to manifest a new boyfriend or manifest a car or whatever, take it off and put it on your altar for that. Do not put it on the board for that. Okay? And then coupling with that, Sean asked, she piggybacked on this question, said, do these crystals stay with the board, or do you give them away and replace when called? The crystals that you got for the board are board crystals. They are sacred to your board. You keep those. Do not give them away. Okay? At a later date down the road, there are going to be more detailed instructions on how to use the boards, how to use the crystals, how to use the pyramids. Right now, all Sir Edward and Eru, all they want you to do is just get used to the energy. You don't even know what you have here. We don't even know totally what you have here until it's given to us. It's like Sir Edward made astral beacons for the post. And on the bottom of every post, every one of the 175 posts around this property, there's an astral beacon, because that's what was given to him at the time. When Eru and the Hierophant were talking to him through the channel, he said there would come a time when a group of people will come together and they will elevate by using the wisdom lessons to the point where we will open a channel for you to give you instructions on how to make the pyramids devices and how to make the astral beacon devices that will go around the world. That is why they've been created, because this is what's actually happened. We've had a success here. You all have reached a certain level. That's why those astral beacons were able to be created the way they were, and that's why they're being distributed. So what we've been told now is, once everybody's got their pyramid, once all the pyramids have been set in place, everybody has their boards, then new instructions will download. But these energy centers have to be placed first so that we can get used to them and understand what we're feeling at the level we can. And then we can jump up. Remember, all will be known when our waiting is full. Okay? So Q's not here, I don't think, but I just wanted you all to know what the take on the crystals is. Okay, and more on, you know, that phrase, all will be known when our waiting is full. Remember, this happens in every moment. You're evolving in every single moment. Every moment you're changing. So at every level you attain, your waiting becomes full because you attained that level. Now it's time to go for another one. Okay, so it's a constant process of spiraling upward. Okay, so like I said, Sarah would receive certain things when we hit certain marks. You'll receive certain things when you hit certain marks. And then, as it's been shown to us, once we all get on that same page in that one mind, we'll be able to make or move mountains. Okay, next question was Moira. I understand that God helps those who help themselves and that God's will be done. When we focus our energy for important missions ahead, how do we best practice or process after a mission so that we do not allow ego to enter? And how do we recognize a mission as being for the right thing if we start having interference from dark forces that appeal to ego and selfishness? Okay, I think I kind of answered that just a bit ago. We have to trust in the fact that everything that's been placed around us knows more than we do. We don't know. I don't know. Sir Edward will tell you, he does not know. And the reason I don't even want to know is because I want to know more. If I tell you I know it all, my cup is full, and then I can't even try anything else because I'm standing here holding this full cup. But if I dump it out and I put the cup down, all this really cool stuff comes at me. And then I go, aha, now I know why. It's okay. Now, what I will tell you, it's okay to question, why are we doing this? But then talk to your angels and trust in the fact that what we're doing is for a reason that right now we don't know. There are things, and some of the knights that have been here for 20 or 30 years can tell you, there are things that we had to do or we did on this property. I'm like, what are we doing that for? Why are we building this? Why are we doing this? I mean, we flat out would say to his face, what are we doing? You told me to do this and now we're doing that. Okay, so maybe we weren't so nice when we were questioning, and I'm going to tell you to be a little bit nicer when you question. It goes a longer way when you're kind. But I will tell you now, I sit back, and this still happens to me on a daily, if not weekly basis. I will look around and go, son of a gun, that's why we had to do that. And it's taken that long to manifest. All will be known when our waiting is full. Now, there are times where we do something and there's instant gratification, because humans need that every once in a while. We love the instant gratification. We love the validation. But what I ask you is to let go of the need of that validation and just trust. Trust in God, trust in the all, trust in yourself. And I will also let you know that if you really do not feel comfortable or don't resonate with something, don't do it. Okay? Does that answer? Okay. Clayton said, what's the most important information we need to know to help bring about the greatest positive change? Change your thoughts, change your reality. That's the lesson of the week in this group. Change your thoughts. You change your thoughts, your world's going to change, and the world around you is going to change. It sounds really simple, but it's really difficult. And there's going to be a lesson coming down the road where I'm going to make you all hold a little journal in your hand 24/7 for 3 days. And you're going to write down every time you had a negative thought. And then after those 3 days, you're going to hold that journal for 3 days. And every time you have a negative thought, you got to write it down and you got to say something positive. You're going to start to see, holy crap, I'm a chronic complainer. Okay? Because you're going to see on a piece of paper all the things that you say to yourself. It's so robotic. We don't even realize we're doing it. So our awareness is super, super important and key to this process. Awareness on all these thoughts that synapse through your mind. That's really, guys, why meditation has been not created, but has come about from the far east to the west. Why do you sit in meditation? So you can examine those crazy thoughts that come through your head. Not to not have thoughts. It's almost impossible not to have thoughts. Even if you don't think anything, somebody else somewhere in a mile's radius is thinking something and it's coming shooting in. And you're going, where did that come from? That wasn't mine. Okay? It's about examination. It's about staying real. It's about staying present. And most of all, it's about you controlling your thoughts. It's the only thing in this world you can do. And you can do it under the highest level of duress. We brought this up today too. If someone like Nelson Mandela, we were talking about Elizabeth Smart and something her mother said to her after the day after she was found. She said, my mother changed my life with just a few sentences. And to paraphrase, what she said was, Elizabeth, what those people did to you was horrific and should never have been done. But if you continue to think about it and allow their actions to create your reality, you will be their captors forever. Your life will never change. But as soon as you let go of those thoughts and you go on with your life, and you have the most beautiful, wonderful life that God wanted you to have, then you're now victorious. So what changed? What could change? It's not what happened to her, but it's her perception of what happened to her. And you all have that in any given moment. We have to release those perceptions. And we have to change them for positive, no matter what happens to us, no matter whether we're in jail, no matter whether we're in school, at a job we don't like. You change your perception of that job. It happened to me. 14 years in ophthalmology. Doc's the one that said it to me. I was miserable, coming home miserable, miserable, miserable. And he said, you know, if you just decide to be happy about it, maybe you will be. And I'm like, something like snapped. It was like somebody took a switch and went boink. And I went in from that day forward and I made happy moments everywhere with patients, with the people I didn't like. It was unbelievable. And guess what? That joy that I brought into the office and the change in my mind was my ticket out of that hell I was living. Twofold. I released myself from the hell of the misery, and I actually physically released myself from that job because then I had this opportunity here open up for me. But until I learned that lesson, I was still going to be trapped. So I tell you all now, you all hold the keys to unbelievable, limitless possibilities and future. Start exercising them. Pick them up and use them. And it starts with controlling your thoughts. Okay, 2 more questions and then we will do our exercise. Tracy, how do I step fully into my power to best help those around me, whether it's my family, students, or clients that come for healing? Tracy, positive reasoning and finding a purpose to command the angels around you, okay? They're talking to you all the time. You know that. You feel it. You have to find that purpose, just like we talked about a little bit earlier with Charlene. Find a purpose for each moment. Find a purpose for your students, Find a purpose for your clients, for your family. Pick up a crystal. You all have them, and say, this is for every client I come in touch with, and I'm going to command that you give them the light to be used to shine their way in the darkness, or whatever it is you want to say. So you have it, Tracy. You just have to start commanding it. Does that help? Okay. All right, Amy, what is the energetic difference between the 4-bell beacon and the 3-bell one? I understand the 4-bell one is for calling in the 4 archangels. Well, there's an archangel bell crystal, and there are 1, 2, 3, and 4-bell crystals, but they're all different. Anyway, the vibration of the crystals, when we get the crystals from the mine, Sir Edward is instructed by Eru to use a tuning fork on each crystal. That's why some extremely powerful ones are this teeny tiny, okay? Some of those teeny tiny ones can hold a whole host of angels, where bigger ones resonate differently. Remember, crystals are beings as well. And like you and I, they have a matrix that is unique only to them. It's like fingerprints. Like our fingerprints, their matrix is it's unique just to them. So when he uses the tuning fork and the channel opens and says, this crystal can hold the vibration of 1/4 of that archangel, then it's given 1 bell. If it can hold the vibration of 1/2 of the archangel, it's given 2. And then 3/4, 3, and then 4 are the whole archangel energy. Now there are other 4-bell crystals, which are the angels of the 4 direction, where they're housed. All 4 of them are housed in those crystals. So I don't know. Is Amy here? I'm hoping that yeah, there you are. Amy, did that answer your question? Okay. Now, like I said earlier, later on down the line, this is a lot of information with all these crystals and all these devices. I mean, sometimes my head spins when he sends things, because I'm like, okay, what do I do with this? What do I do? Sooner than later, we will all find out exactly how to use all these when all the pyramids are in place, and when we all evolve to a certain level, that more definitive linear instructions will come through. Right now, all we want you to do is use the crystals that you have and get used to the energy. Pick them up and say, what's going on here? Is this a sun crystal? What's going on here? What do I feel? What is it telling me? And by the way, all of you that have a bell crystal, you should be picking that bell crystal up and shaking it at least once a day. Every time you shake it, you're releasing the archangels that are on the wall, the vibration of those archangels. So it should change your resonance and change things around you. Okay, so I think that I have gone through all of the questions that I had up to that point. What I would like to do now is the exercise that I talked about earlier. So I don't know how many of you saw this or not, but in that video that Sir had posted about the thoughts, when I viewed it the second time, I saw an ad for another meditation group, and there was this guy on there who was talking about forgiveness. Did anybody see that, the forgiveness thing? No? Okay. Okay. So basically what he said was, and I'll try to link it, I'll put it in both your groups so that you can take a look at it. But what he said was, forgiveness has been studied, and there's a little exercise that he does with it, but there's been studies where after somebody has forgiven, it actually affects the physical body. And the 2 studies that were done that he gave examples of, one, after forgiveness was given, people could jump higher than they did before. physically, literally jump higher. Other people who had to run up a hill, after they came back down and they give their forgiveness, they said that running up the hill was much easier. The hill wasn't as hard as it was. So there's this physiological response that happens. And what I've been told, or what the energies that are pointing to the direction of the fact that basically you're really releasing baggage. You're releasing these weights that are holding you down. So the angel knights that came in today for our Wednesday gathering, we tried this around the table and we had some pretty amazing things happen. So what I would like to do right now is do the same thing. So in a moment, I'm going to have you close your eyes, and I'm going to set the timer on my clock just for a minute. And during that minute, what I want you to do is focus on a hurt that you have. I want you to focus either on somebody or some situation that really hurt you. And I want you to feel that hurt. I want you to feel the anger. I want you to feel it with every cell in your being, like it's just there, like it's raw and it's wriggling inside of you. Feel it intently. When the alarm goes off, I'm going to say release. Let it go. As soon as you let it go, in front of you, still with your eyes closed, will appear the person or the situation, or maybe you at a younger age. And I want you to empathetically feel that person. Feel what they're going through. Because what this man said, and this is something we've all heard before, hurt people hurt people. People who have been victimized or hurt, they continue the process and pass it down the line and hurt others. So one of the things that came out of the studies was that intelligence is one thing, but the highest level of intelligence that you can gain is empathetic intelligence. It's empathy. It's being able to feel what other people feel and not just judge them with the situation and the basic knowledge. So that's what we're going for. We're going for that empathetic knowledge, that intelligence. So I'm going to set this for a minute. Remember, for 1 minute, when I say start, you are going to feel the issue with everything in your being. You're going to hear my alarm go off. I'm going to say release. And then for 1 minute, you are going to be in a state of empathy with the person or the situation. And then the alarm will go off after another minute, and we'll come back to this space, and anyone who wants to share can share their impressions. Okay, everybody ready? Let me see a thumbs up. Awesome. Okay, nice deep breath. Get into your mindset, what you think you're going to go over. It may jump once I say start, but that's okay. Just get it into your mindset, what you think you're going to go over, and start. Release. Now begin empathy. All right. Slowly bring your breathing back to normal. When you're ready, open your eyes at a time that's perfect for you. You may want to jot down anything that you felt or you saw. And let me see a show of any hands that would like to share what happened. I saw a lot going on. I saw some pretty amazing things. Amy, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure I wanted to go there because this had to do with my mom, but I went for it. And I envisioned the last time I saw her with my daughter when she just had no anger management skills at all and was just flipping out and freaking out over, I don't know, she left something in the living room at her house when we visited. Just so hostile, and the energy was just so awful. So I sat in that. And then the empathy piece, I saw her as this child, and what I saw her just sort of running around with all this kind of neurosis, seeing that she's like sort of, what kept coming to me is that she's poisoned her own mind. She poisoned her own mind, and that just, she's like living out the effects of poison. Mm-hmm. And that word came through so strong. And so I saw her as this sort of helpless, just childlike individual who is just sort of on this sort of just treadmill. And I felt sorrow. I did feel love because I kind of turned her into a child, you know?
Right. Well, okay. So you can take that one step further. You have a beautiful daughter.
Yes.
How would you feel if your daughter was going through what your mother went through?
Awful.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is what you see. You say, no child. We're all children.
Yes.
All of us are walking around damaged baggage at some level, in some way, shape, or form from our childhood. Now, that could be varying degrees of damage, whether it's just the programming that I've talked to you about, where we don't know how free we really are, how limitless we really are, or it could be severe abuse and physical, mental trauma. So if you can see that person as the child, because this is where it comes from. 9 times out of 10, the hurt people are hurt children.
That's true.
This is really, I mean, this is tying into Michael's mission here. This is why we do what we do. It's actually going to tie into our October mission. We need to save these children from the trauma. We need to give them their awareness. We need to give them permission to say, no, stop. I'm going to tell. We need to give them their voice. We need to let them know they too are powerful beyond measure. They deserve their human rights just as much as any adult. Just because they can't vote doesn't mean they don't have purpose. Okay? So see them as children. Know that we're saving them all like that, because that was absolutely beautiful. That's exactly what you want to see. So great job. You might want to pursue that a little bit more and send some. You might want to take a beacon and give it to her.
I will. I actually will. Thank you.
You may want to keep it at your home and give it to her too. When you guys take your beacons off for purposes like that on your war shield, set your intention, put it on top of your mandala, and then let the mandala do the creation. When you do that though, and this is one thing I want to cover before we close out. Whenever you use any of your crystals, your astral beacon devices, for another purpose other than a mission, or when we tell you, go ahead and use it. When it's done, what you need to do, especially those of you who have pyramids coming, you're going to set it on top of one of the magnetic hematite stones that are coming. And then you're going to take the other magnetic hematite stone and do the polar opposite and erase what's going on in there. Okay? All you're going to erase is what you put into it. You're never going to erase what Eru put into it. That's locked tight. Okay. So the power of that crystal will still be present, but you want to get that energy out of there, that intention out of there after you're done with it, and then ready for another intention. Okay. All right. Anybody else have any other? Clayton. Oh, Clayton, can you hold on for a second? Let me clarify something real quick. I just want to do it out loud. I did it over in the chat. What you heard at the 1 minute and the 2 minute mark is my silly little alarm, and it was the minions going, hello, hello, because I like to be childlike. So sorry, that was weird. It was no extraterrestrial voice from beyond. It was my alarm. Okay, go ahead, Clayton.
So what I saw was, it hit me very hard. When I was in high school, I had a friend who went from being my very best friend, like we were next door neighbors for a number of years before high school, and he was homeschooled for elementary up until high school. So he didn't know the social nuances of public schooling like I did. And when he went into high school, like we went in together, but over the course of my freshman year, he started to turn into this, for lack of a better word, a bully. And he would antagonize me with the other students, and it was a lot. It was a crap show, basically, between us. And we're like, okay, what's going on here? Let's sort this out. We never got to sort that out officially. We never talked about it or anything. He moved away before we had a chance to sort it out. So during your meditation, I saw him in front of me, and I said, okay, I know that you didn't know what you were doing to me. I know that you thought it was cool, but I forgive you anyway. And I just felt this huge weight come off of me.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Now that huge weight that came off of you now, and everyone else that felt similar situations, this is a requirement for the next 2 weeks and beyond if you choose to do it. But for the next 2 weeks, along with your lesson, every day, you can do it first thing in the morning, or you can do it before you go to bed. Every day, it takes 2 minutes. I want you to do the same exact exercise. It could be a forgiveness for the junk you went through during the day. You could pick some other issue in your life, because there's always something coming at you in this world. There's always something that irritated you, whether it was the driver that cut you off and you almost had an accident, or the dry cleaner that closed 10 minutes early and you didn't get your clothes out that you really need for that night, or whatever it is. I want you to do this exact exercise every single day for the next 2 weeks. Release the baggage. I actually did it with Michaela this morning. We did it with the Knights. And your day is amazing. When you wake up every morning and you release this crap that's been holding you back, or the angst from yesterday, or the fight you had with your husband or your wife, or whatever it is, let it go. Forgive. Because what you're actually doing is you're taking your power back, and you're not allowing that situation to create your reality anymore. So try that. I'm going to upload that, and I'll upload his video too, so that you know that this is an extra thing with the assignment. But lots of good stuff there. I'm hoping that everybody jotted down what came up for them. Okay, 2 more things I want to go over before, and then if somebody else wants to share later, we can. There were 2 things from, is Jennifer here? You see Jennifer anywhere? No? Okay. Jennifer had an experience where everything was going great. She's having a very powerful meditative experience. A lot of people in the first group, the older group, said, like many of you said, this is the most beautiful meditation as of yet, and this most powerful meditative experience I've had yet. I mean, the majority of you said something like that. Now, why is that happening? That's happening because the power of the one mind is growing. Your power is growing. So everything is very impactful. Okay. But what happened with Jennifer was, she was having this great day. She's been feeling good about herself. She went out with her mom, and they went out to see a band or hear a band play music. And two people asked her to dance, a 70-year-old guy and about a 20-year-old guy. So her ego, she was feeling really good about herself, as she should have. Her mother turned to her, who they've had, issues in the past. Her mother turned to her and said, well, that younger boy only asked you on a dare to dance. And so Jennifer's ego went, okay? So for all of you out there who have had this kind of situation happen, when someone says something like that to you, I want you to take a nice deep breath. And first and foremost, remember, it is not about me. What they just said is not about me. The second thing, you're going to look them right in the eye and you're going to say, I'm sorry. Is there something happening in your world right now that you felt the need to say that to me? Are you okay? Can I help you with something? What's going on? Are you hurt? Turn it on the tide, because there kicks in the empathy. And you've taken your power back. You put them on notice that passive-aggressive bullcrap is gone. I'm not dealing with that anymore. I know what you're saying to me. And I'm going to help you with your stuff, because I know that wasn't about me. And this is what you have to do. Okay? Everybody got that? All right. One last thing. Nancy was talking about, she had no idea that the sons of innocence existed, as opposed to the sons of darkness, sons of innocence, the balance. And somewhere in the book it says that the angels that 70% of humans believe in are extraterrestrials. She doesn't understand that. Well, what does extraterrestrial mean? It means it's not from this earth. So all the energies of the planets, the angels, they're not from this earth. They're not earthlings. They're from the fifth dimension. They're from heaven. They're from the energy of the creator, unlike ascended masters. Ascended masters were human that got it before they transferred into the next existence. Okay, so sometimes the people, that's why it says 70%, because sometimes the energies that people are perceiving to be angels are really ascended masters. So do you guys understand that part? Okay, if anybody else had that question. Okay, I'm done rambling around and answering all these questions and getting all that information out. We have about 6 minutes left. Does anybody have any other burning question they need answered? Or Doc's got a question. Doc needs to know how to unmute himself. That's his first question.
I unmuted you, Doc. There you go.
I finally found the mic. Thank you. I read the lesson 24, and I discussed this a little bit with Sophia, and she said, rather than answer my question, she said, sounds like a question. And she was on her way to Zoom call. But at any rate, the meditation is about an amulet. The reading is about both, but it is primarily about a talisman. And so when I listened to them both, I was a little confused, and then I really don't understand what an amulet is. And my question is it a combination of things? Is it, in other words, like a piece of wood or a gem or a stone of some kind? Is it an insignia on that piece of wood, or that gift, or whatever we're presented with, or whatever we're led to obtain? I guess I'm just asking for a clarification.
Well, the answer to all of that is yes. Okay? because once you, the rest of you who will get to that meditation, okay, so let me backtrack. Why do you think I did an amulet meditation as opposed to a talisman meditation?
Are you asking? Oh, God.
Mara, go ahead. You tell it.
Well, I just actually, my brain Googled it. An amulet, it said that an amulet is actually to ward off negative things, and a talisman is to bring positive things.
That's part of it, but why, does anybody else know why I would, any of you who are in that lesson, why would I do the meditation on the amulet and not the talisman?
Because you've been asking us to monitor our thoughts, so you want us to be thinking about the positive things.
True. Doc? What?
It's way too complicated. The talismans are, as you mentioned to me, 3 lessons, and very, very detail oriented. It's going to be interesting to see how they, through you, create a meditation for the talismans, because it's a very intricate process.
I've been thinking that same thing myself. Oh, please give me something good. Okay, so cut to the chase. The reason why I did the amulet one, because it doesn't tell you what to do with an amulet. It just talks about it. It doesn't give you any guidance for the amulet. So the meditation is for the amulet, so you learn how to make it. Now, when I said yes to all of your questions, is that typically, and you'll hear this in the meditation, typically amulets are made out of natural objects. But when you go into the meditation, your angel is going to guide you. If I make an amulet today, I may be handed some wood, a seashell, and some twine. And then I'm going to be given a picture of how to put it together and what it looks like. And then I might do a meditation next week and I get something totally different. So you're going to get what you need at the time you need it. And yes, Mara is right. An amulet is for personal protection. It is, you cannot make an amulet for someone else. You have to make it for yourself. And this angel, your angel, is going to guide you in its creation. So that's the reason why I did that. And yes, it's going to be a very interesting process, because this talisman is threefold. You have to absorb all 3 lessons to really truly understand how to do a talisman. And even then there are different layers of it. Okay. So does that answer your question, Doc? Anybody else have anything on top of that to ask? No? Okay. All right. We are at 5:59. I remember I will, after I'm finished, I'm going to link your both classroom spaces to that video on the forgiveness, and you have that bonus exercise every day to do your forgiveness 2-minute exercise on every day for the next 2 weeks. Okay? All right. Take a nice deep breath and start to bring yourself back into center. I'm going to send you out some Hierophant oil. This is your highest, deepest oil of enlightenment. Keep all those synapses open. Take a nice deep breath. And start to create that torus of energy around your body. When you breathe in through the heart chakra and breathe out through the crown. And allow that breath and that energy to travel back up through your feet, into your core, into the heart. And then one more nice deep breath up through the heart and the crown, down around your body, protecting you, rejuvenating you, and grounding you. Your Mother, Father, God, creator of all things, we are in deepest gratitude for your attendance here this evening, and all the ascended masters who joined, the archangels, specifically the archangels of the 4 directions. Please continue to guide us every once in a while, if not daily. Let us know your presence. Give us a sign. We are human, as you know, and we do like the validation. But we promise from this point on to trust in your guidance, trust in your presence, And ultimately, we know that the unconditional love and light you send is for our better good and the good of all humankind. We are the emissaries of the light bearers of this world. And we go forth in the mission to save the children of tomorrow. And so it is, and so we are, and so it shall be. Amen. All right, my loves, you guys have a great 2 weeks. Pray for all of us next week in Reiki Holy Fire. Can't wait to see Roya's going to be here, and Jennifer's going to be here. It's going to be an awesome, awesome class along with a bunch of other people from this area. So peace be with you. My love.